So I'm going to be reading Solomon Prays for Wisdom. Now Solomon made a treaty with Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and married Pharaoh's daughter. Then he brought her to the city of David until he had finished building his own house, and the house of the Lord, and the wall all around Jerusalem. So he had his house, the house of the Lord, and wall around the whole Jerusalem, keep everything safe. Meanwhile, the people sacrificed at the high places because there was no house built for the name of the Lord until those days. So they had to sacrifice where they could. Okay. And Solomon loved the Lord, walking in the statutes of his father David, except that he sacrificed and burnt incense at the high places. Because what else is he going to do it? Now the king went to Gibeon to sacrifice there, for that was a great high place. Solomon offered 1,000 burnt offerings on that altar. At Gibeon, the Lord appeared to Solomon in a dream by night, and God said, "Ask, what shall I give you?" And Solomon said, "You have shown great mercy to your servant David my father, because he walked before you in truth and righteousness and uprightness in heart with you. You have continued this great kindness for him, and you have given him a son to sit on the throne as it is this day." Excuse me 1 minute. I gotta go blow my nose. Hang on.
How do I look?
I look good. I got a little pants.
Well, you better go continue your video, woman. You're leaving airtime. Leaving airtime. Dead air. Dead air. Dead air. We're on a radio station.
Girls behave. Okay. Now I'm back. Man, the cedar's been super high, so. All right, hey. Now, Lord my God, you have made your servant king instead of my father David. But I am a little child. I do not know how to go out or come in. So he said, my father served you well, which kind of debatable. But, he did in the beginning. So, but, so now he's saying he don't know. He don't know what to do. So, and your servant is in the midst of your people whom you have chosen, a great people, too numerous to be numbered or counted. Therefore, give to your servant an understanding heart to judge your people, that I may discern between good and evil. For who is able to judge this great people of yours? The speech pleased the Lord, that Solomon had asked this thing. Then God said to him, "Because you have asked this thing, and have not asked long life for yourself, nor have asked riches for yourself, nor have asked the life of your enemies, but have asked for yourself understanding to discern justice. Behold, I have done according to your words, so I have given you a wise, understanding heart, so that there has not been anyone like you before, nor shall any like you arise after you. And I have also given you what you have not asked, both riches and honor, so that there shall not be anyone like you among the kings of all your days." So he was giving him wisdom of heart. "So if you walk in my ways, to keep my statutes and my commandments, as your father David walked, then I will lengthen your days." So he's going to make him, have long life. Then Solomon awoke, and indeed it had been a dream. And he came to Jerusalem and stood before the ark of the covenant of the Lord, and offered up burnt offerings, offered peace offerings, and made a feast for all his servants. People think that dreams are nothing, but God, he can speak to us in dreams. Now 2 women who were harlots came to the king and stood before him. One woman said, "Oh, my lord, this woman and I dwell in the same house, and I gave birth while she was in the house." Then it happened the third day after I had given birth that this woman also gave birth, and we were together. No one was with us in the house except the two of us in the house. And this woman's son died in the night because she lay on him. So she arose in the middle of the night and took my son from my side, while your maidservant slept, and laid him in her bosom. And I laid her dead child in my bosom. And when I rose in the morning to nurse my son, there he was dead. But when I had examined him in the morning, indeed he was not my own son whom I had born. Then the other woman said, No, but the living one is my son, and the dead one is your son. And the first woman said, No, but the dead one is your son, the living one is my son. Thus they spoke before the king. So they're bickering, okay? And the king said, the one says, This is my son who lives, and your son is the dead one. And the other says, No, but your son is the dead one, and my son is the living one. And the king said, Bring me a sword. So they brought a sword before the king. And the king said, Divide the living child in two, and give half to one, half to the other. Then the woman whose son was living spoke to the king, who she yearned with compassion for her son. She said, O my lord, give her the living child. By no means kill him. But the other said, Let him neither be mine nor yours, but divide him. So the king answered and said, Give the first woman the living child, and by no means kill him. She is his mother. As a mother, she's going to do anything for her child to live. Even wild animals, they will die. You see a mama bear, that's why they get the term mama bear. Okay? She will go after a big old male bear who could kill her and her cub to protect her baby. I mean, mamas, you don't mess with a mama. When mamas are ticked off, when mamas think that their kids are threatened, they're scary. They're scarier than anything. Okay? And all Israel heard of the judgment which the king had rendered, and they feared the king. For they saw that the wisdom of God was in him to administer justice. So, he knew what to do. He's like, okay, he wasn't going to really kill the baby. He was going to say, okay, let me think of a way and we'll figure out whose child this is. Because the one that's going to be upset, that's going to be the one that's the mama. Because, excuse me, it's early in the morning. But, because, like I said, mamas, they don't want anything happening to their kids. Never, never. So, anyway, thumbs up, like, and subscribe, and peace.